back to Blackbox Banter. How are we doing today?
Yay! Today we're here with
Our director,
Kalbaugh. Brandon Kalbaugh.
That's me.
You can find
Kalbaugh, do you
on
wanna-
IMDb.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Brandon Kalbaugh. The end. So I teach theater here at Lightridge High School. Opened it 5 years ago, and I've been in Loudoun County now for 15 years.
Crazy.
Experience.
Like yesterday, I was only 15 years old.
Wow,
That's not
okay.
true.
So, how did you get started in theater?
Well, actually, I think the moment that I realized I love to be on stage was in first grade. We were doing a little like music class presentation, and it was up on the rooftop, click, 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 down through the chimneys, good Saint Nick. Yes, I was Saint Nick, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I borrowed my older brother's shirt, and I stuffed a pillow inside for padding. I was really scrawny. And I was just singing along. I didn't realize the pillow was falling out, and I just kept grabbing the shirt and punching the pillow back up with my other hand, and everybody in the audience was laughing. And I can distinctly remember everybody in that cafeteria just laughing at me, but I could only think, this is fantastic. I'm making all these people laugh. I had no idea why they were laughing at the time, but that was definitely when I was bitten by the bug. And then it was just sort of like waiting for opportunities as I was growing up because they weren't always there. But here we are.
Yeah, his origin story.
Origin story.
First role, Father Christmas.
Now I have a beard.
And it's perfect. It's Christmas time now.
Yeah, I try to find a way to belly though, you know. It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. What is the difference between a professional theater and a high school theater?
Well, a lot of it is that everybody in the professional theater really wants to be there, and it's their top priority. A lot of people are well trained, and I don't think it necessarily matters what level of professional theater, but I think it's the collection of people take it so seriously, and they all have some sort of training. So everybody goes in and they have instincts, and they have stage awareness, and they have stage presence, and they just sort of like dive in full throttle. So people just in generally are there making each other better and handling it with a lot of personal ownership. So yeah, choice and dedication, I think, are two of the biggest things.
See. You guys want to ask another question?
Oh, sorry, I got it. How did you go from being an actor to a director?
Well, this also was unintentional. I think a lot of people start out as actors, and they get pulled into theater that way. When I was a young actor, I was getting into a lot of shows that I didn't actually think were that great. In the downtown theater scene of New York City, there's a lot of kind of experimental theater, which sometimes yields a good play, and sometimes you're like, well, at least I was on stage. And I was like, well, I could do this myself instead of auditioning for other people. So I started my own theater company, and then I wrote a play for me and my friends to show off with, and it was tailor-made for me. And while I was trying to find a director to direct it, I couldn't. So I realized that I had like one or two directors lined up that I thought I could afford and that were going to handle it well. Then they moved on to something else because I just didn't have a lot of money to pay them yet. So I had to replace the director with myself, and I found it sobering to find out that I could replace the actor who was going to play me much easier than I could replace the director. So that was sort of like I got pushed into directing, but then I did sort of really enjoy it, and I wasn't like bitter about the fact that the role that I'd written for myself was being played brilliantly by somebody else. Shout out to Joe McDougal, wherever you are. Yeah, good guy.
Yay! What do young actors need to do to gradually become more professional actors?
Work hard and take it seriously, and just everything about your body supports your ability, right? So take care of your health, some sort of fitness routine. You know, it's not about looking fit, it's about feeling fit and being fit and owning what you've got. And, you know, vocal work, accenting your abilities with other special skills and trainings, and just diving in and acting as much as possible. And yes, in sometimes plays that you weren't expecting to enjoy or intending to be on, but act, perform, because everything you do, you get better in, no matter how small or what it is.
Yes.
Commitment. Kalbaugh, why do you like theater?
I think 2 reasons. One, it's just where I always felt very comfortable and sort of supported. I always wanted to perform, so that wasn't necessarily an off step for me. I did sports and things like that too, but I felt that theater was the source of my strength. My strength and my leadership skills and the things that boosted my confidence, so that when I went elsewhere, it was really, I kept seeing these things that I learned by doing theater that were applicable everywhere else. So that sense of being comfortable with myself and in my own voice was what I wanted other people to experience. So I just feel like theater can move people in that way, and it can also help, you know, shape society. And I do sort of have like awareness in the political sphere, so like I really appreciate the idea that like theater can that experience of being live on stage with an audience at the same time is potentially transformative when it's done well. So yeah.
Okay, we have some Instagram quick questions from fellow members of Lightridge
We posted
Theatre.
a question on our Instagram saying, what are some questions that you want to ask our director? And so we have them here now.
Yes. So the first question is, what's your favorite show? And it can be a play or
Or both.
or both.
Yeah, give us two.
Yeah, give us two.
Favorite play or musical that I've like seen, or that's such a hard question actually.
Yeah.
That I've been a part of. Okay.
Favorite that you've seen.
Okay, well let me say, I think actually, surprisingly enough, one of my favorite musicals that I've ever seen was actually Xanadu on Broadway. It's the only musical that I saw twice, and I didn't even want to go see it. My wife brought me to the show because she had a friend in it, and I just thought it was hilarious and surprised me so much, and I think that's probably why it stuck with me so hard. And then I can remember back in college, I was in a production of All My Sons by Arthur Miller, and Arthur Miller is one of my favorite playwrights, so I think just Arthur Miller in general is...
Solid. Guys, come see Xanadu.
Come see Xanadu.
Oh my God.
Yes, we're doing Xanadu
We
now.
are doing Xanadu.
Yeah, Xanadu Jr., but still,
But it's still Xanadu.
Twice, 2 different casts. Wow.
Whoa. This many.
Double your pleasure, double
Double
your
the
fun.
trouble.
2 weekends.
Trouble, fun, whatever.
Limited time only. January. 2 weekends. Somewhere in
January 2
February.
weekends,
2 weekends.
starting the 16th.
16th
Yeah.
to 26th.
Yeah, Whole Fest, 25, baby.
We got this.
Yeah.
What's your dream role?
Oh, yes.
So I keep changing my mind on what this dream role is, but I actually I started to say Jack Kelly the other day, but then someone talked about spelling bee, and I have to be honest, I would love to play me some Barfay, and I think I'd be actually better at that because I can't probably hit those tenor notes. You know, you watch Jeremy Jordan do it, and you're like, I don't think I could do that, right? They'd be like, no, man, you're a Pulitzer. So I don't know. Those are a couple of them. Yeah.
I mean, actually, I would love to play Iago if I'm going Shakespearean in Othello also, because he's just sort of this very intellectually dubious villain, and I think it'd be really fun to play a villain or somebody I just don't like at all.
Intellectually
Yes.
dubious.
Dubious, that's right. Duplicitous as well. SAT prep right here for you folks. Blackbox Banter.
Blackbox
Blackbox
Banter. We already kind of like went over
Yeah,
this, but
your
what was
first
your
role
first
was-
role other than Father Christmas?
Well, so I guess that technically wasn't a play, right?
Yeah.
So I had to wait so that was in like first grade, and I had to wait until fourth grade. My father actually did a little community theater, and I was able to do a play with him. It was Gypsy, which you wouldn't say, hey, fourth graders, let's go do Gypsy. It's about strippers. But Gypsy, Stephen Sondheim musical, it's nothing too risque. I was a newsboy. Yeah, extra. Hey, look at the headlines. And now I was just talking about Jack Kelly, a different newsboy. But yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So that was my first actual like musical that I was in.
That's a great first one.
Yeah, and my father played Pop, which is kind of Pops, Kringle-Lion, and Cigar, I think were his 3 titles. They were on the back of our shirts, so that's why I remember that.
Ooh, okay. The next one. How do you become such a cool guy?
Yeah. Give us some.
It takes a lot
tricks.
of hard work, finesse, a little bit of yoga,
Gotta get the Pilates.
chocolate and coffee. I think dog ownership has something to do with it.
Stop dying.
And living in a place like New York, which nobody knows that I did live there once. So I think the New Yorkification of people helps.
Did you ever have like an accent at one point?
Sometimes down here, when I don't think you have an accent. Actually, because I went to school in Virginia, every time I used to go back home, I would all of a sudden get an accent that I never had, and it would be weird. It's just like, you hear people talk and you start imitating them.
Cool.
But like I would come back, and then sometimes down here, if I get really tired or really upset or mad, sometimes I get a little bit of a New York accent, and I'm like, oh look, there it is. My brother has one. One of my brothers. The other one doesn't. He lives in Oregon now. The one who still lives up there does. Yeah.
I forgot Oregon.
I forgot about Oregon.
It's way out west,
Yeah.
The trees still grow high.
Corn.
What's do you have a show fail story, either in a play that you were in or one that you directed?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell
Oh.
us about
You
it?
mean like a performance failure?
Yes.
Yeah. Share the class.
Yeah, it involves a little bit of bad language, so I won't say what it was. But
Yeah, I was in a play in my freshman year of college called Runaways by Elizabeth Swados. And it's about a bunch of kids from, it's like a double fail actually, because it was pre sort of like wokeness, I guess, like and like cultural awareness. And when people were sort of like freely just acting in whatever, everybody knew blackface was wrong, but not everybody thought about anything further than that. And if you didn't have a lot of diversity in your cast, so I could speak Spanish and get tanned. So I got cast as a mixed race performer, being Puerto Rican partially, is what they said, right? But it was, looking back, that director made some not very alert choices. So that was part of it, right? And I was a very bad person also. It was all kinds of crimes that I was committing in this show. And I had a couple of monologues all by myself. And then one was on a chain link fence, which was really cool. This was at Orange County Community College. And I was up on a chain link fence, and I was the only person on stage, and it was press night. So everybody was coming to the opening night. And I knew where the press was and everything. It was an intimate theater. And I blanked out. I blanked out utterly and completely in the middle of a 3-page monologue. I was like half a page into it. And luckily there was obscenity flying in this play. So I threw one out there because I was stuck, and that was just what came out of my mouth. Don't swear, kids. It's not nice. But I did. And then it unlocked sort of the rest of what I was supposed to say. So I was able to keep going. So lesson learned, if you blank out, say something. Don't swear, but say something, and it'll break your brain freeze, right? So I was able to keep going, and the second line I said was, "It's a crazy world." Much harder than that, though. I sounded a lot harder in that play. And I got quoted in the newspaper, so it was a rebound. Yes, and then I got nominated for awards that I shouldn't have gotten nominated for, because I shouldn't have been playing that role, honestly. But hey, there it is. different. 20 years ago was a different world. Well, it's probably longer than that now. Is it 30 years? Oh gosh, I'm getting old. Hey. Oh wait, there was another play that I was in, and there was one person in the audience. It wasn't the worst play ever, but it wasn't the best play ever. It was one of those plays I was talking about in New York. We'll leave the name out of that one. But I had done a very successful play with that company, and then I'd gone back to do another one, and the second one wasn't as good. And literally, we were about to close the doors because there was nobody in the audience, and this dude walked in, and we had to perform the whole show for one guy. That was so painful.
But hey, I hope you liked it.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think about that. That's like sad.
It was a Western on stage in New York City, so go figure.
Oh, okay.
Non-musical.
Well, I think that wraps up our episode today.
Look at that.
Look
That's
at
very
that.
efficient.
Oh wait, I have one more question.
Ooh.
Okay.
Back in the day, what was your favorite bagel place in New York?
Help.
Oh wait,
There's a place in Brooklyn. There's actually 2 stores. It's called La Bagel Delight. They're always busy. They're fantastic.
I think
yeah. It's on 7th Avenue in Brooklyn, and they're the best bagels ever. As a matter of fact, when we go anywhere near there, we drive there and buy like 3 dozen bagels and bring them back with us and put them in the freezer because they're just amazing.
They're really good.
They really are.
What's your ideal order? Like, what's your ideal bagel?
I don't know. It's unimaginative, but I like a bacon, egg, and cheese on the everything bagel.
Oh, solid.
Period.
Solid.
Exclamation point.
Yes, period.
Are we all just coughing today? Is that what's going on?
Not I. No kids, no kids. Excuse me.
Well, I think that finally wraps up our episode today. Thank you, Kalbaugh, for joining
Thank you
us.
so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Wow.
Young scholars.
Really?
Yay.
The least we could do.
Yeah.
Stop dying!
Okay.
Wake up!
She's
Awake.
acting. It's not actually real.
I'm
She's
fake.
very talented.
Yeah, he
Oh.
is very talented.
Take your
Oh,
vitamin
lots
C.
of
please.
I drank a whole glass of orange juice today.
Yes.
Yay.
Period.
Okay, OJ.
All right.
Alright, well,
Perfect.
perfect
Perfect
timing!
Something
Goodbye, everyone!
Bye,
Thank you!
everyone. And Merry Christmas!